Good morning, Rebels, and welcome back to my life. It's Friday, which means that another episode of Nightblade has been released to wreak havoc upon the world. Let's take a look at what we did this week on Vlog and Novel, and what we learned. The first thing I learned is that I really need to manage my time better, not just for production, but for little things like my health. Due to a combination of piss-poor planning and some personal factors happening this week, I didn't go to bed before 3 a.m. one single night, and every single day I had to teach an 8 o'clock a.m. class at my old school. Definitely kind of started affecting my general outlook on life, not to mention my ability to form coherent sentences. But you know what? It might have been worth it, because Nightblade episode 2 is pretty badass. The story changed quite considerably from what I'd imagined in the original season outline. First of all, I realized that I'd fallen short of my own standards when it comes to representation in writing. So episode 2 restored the balance in terms of inclusion of women with speaking roles and of people of color. Also too, I addressed the one consistent criticism of episode 1, which is that everybody except for Lauren was a bit of a two-dimensional character. That was a conscious decision because at the start of the story, Lauren is a simple forester girl who sees the world as very black and white, simple. Things are one way or they are another. The narrative is meant to reflect that, and clearly I think it did an okay job, but it's still kind of sucky to have people like call you out on it. So in episode 2, we began to meet people who are more than they seem, whose motivations and intentions are unclear. And yes, we end with a great big cliffhanger betrayal that should make more than a few people throw their e-readers across the room. We also start learning more about the world. Episode 1 was all about the Birchwood Forest. In episode 2, we start peeling back the layers of the 9 kingdoms. Obviously, I didn't want to do this all via big info dump, so instead I chose to just mention things that will be elaborated upon during the rest of the series. The cool thing is that a lot of that elaboration is still to be determined because I'm kind of building this world as I go along with the story. Sometimes it feels a little like laying tracks down in front of an oncoming train, but hey, I like living on the edge. In future weeks, I want to spend more hours of Vlog and Novel doing world building and letting that inform the story more and more. Because the more that Lauren sees of the world, the more it will influence her life and determine what she chooses to do with it. That seems like an opportune segue to talk about how long this series is going to run for. Basically, my current plan is to keep writing it every single week until my fingers fall off. Lauren is not going to go on a typical hero's journey, arrive at some destination or acquire a specific power and then defeat some Dark Lord for once and for all. I plan to follow her story for years. In episode 1, she's 15. I plan to take her all the way well into adulthood, through the good times and the bad, the ups, the downs, the exciting times, and the slightly less so. And since Lauren's tale provides world building for my far off in the future series of epic fantasy novels, her tale will not only be involved with, but will bookend those books. She'll provide us a look at the world before the arrival of the Life Mage, and tell us about the repercussions of his battle with the Necromancer Reborn, and how the world rebuilds from that. And what the hell did all that mean? Stay tuned. This week also marked the first time that I had a reader vote, and you can still participate. Check out the very beginning of episode 10 in this week's Vlog and Novel series to find out what you can vote on, but that will determine how episode 3 begins. Although only my depraved mind gets to determine how it ends. Nightblade episode 2 is available for sale. You can click on the cover right there or on the link in the description. You can buy it on the major ebook retailers, and you can also buy it directly from me, which frankly helps me out a lot more as an indie author. But you can also get episode 2 for free by reviewing episode 1 on Amazon, and the link to do that is also in the description. It's been a crazy week, Rebels. Hopefully next week is just as awesome, if slightly less hectic, and I will see you then. Bye.